Good evening, everyone, and welcome to your Tuesday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Michael Onen, and we do have some mostly cloudy skies over Doak Campbell Stadium this afternoon. A few more clouds compared to the last few days, so it's 90 degrees because of that, with those mix of sun and clouds over us here in Tallahassee. Satellite and radar, not really much to speak of again for another day. We did have a controlled burn over Liberty County, and then we have two showers, one right over the airport and then one out towards Panama City. But other than that, really nothing going on in our local region. We do have this cold front currently located in the southeast, and it's not going to reach us because of high pressure still holding on just a little bit. But that moisture will eventually get to our region as we go into the later part of the work week, increasing those rain chances to those typical summertime values. So your 3-day forecast shows you that pretty well, with temperatures in the mid to low to mid 90s, but those rain chances definitely increase as we go into the end of our work week. Now let's send off to Tyler to check at the southeast.
Thanks, Michael. And the southeast is warming up slowly but surely. New Orleans right now is the only really cool spot at 77 degrees. That's because they've seen a lot of shower and storm activity there. We'll get into that later in the segment. Jackson's also at 87 because of the rain. Everywhere else, pretty much in the lower 90s to mid 90s. And looking at our dew points, the lower dew points are situated mostly in Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Everyone else is experiencing some fairly muggy dew points, except for North Florida. Orlando getting up to a dew point of 74. Shreveport also getting up to a dew point of 74. Our heat index shows that those central states like Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina have a heat index that's a little bit lower. They're feeling a lot more comfortable. So is New Orleans with that heat index of 78 degrees. And then Shreveport, which had the higher dew point, is feeling a little bit hotter, and so is Tampa at 98. Miami also sitting at 97. Very hot conditions there. Most of our wind speeds and directions are coming from our flow off the Gulf of Mexico, our sea breeze, as we like to call it here in FSU weather. Tallahassee, 6 miles per hour right now. Also, the east coast is getting an Atlantic sea breeze, and then Little Rock and Nashville experiencing winds ahead of that cold front. Here's the cold front right here. It's pushing a lot of rain over here on Louisiana towards the Shreveport, even moving into Houston area, also over New Orleans. Everywhere else, though, is dominated by this high pressure, which explains why there's such low moisture in these states over here. We're going to zoom into Louisiana, get a closer look at the storms moving south through New Orleans, still experiencing a lot of rain right now. And moving into Houston, they're going to be experiencing some storms coming up as well. And then we're going to get into some watches and warnings as well. Flash flood warning here in the red until 5:45 Central Time, and then a flood warning going into Friday over parts of the Mississippi River that go into Louisiana. Over the next 24 hours, going to see that rain start to dissipate as we get into the nighttime, but it's going to kick back right up again as we get into the afternoon hours. Pretty much all over the southeast. Mississippi, not going to see much rain. Neither is Arkansas. For tonight, though, going to be pretty comfortable, except for Miami. Going to still be at 80 degrees tonight. And then tomorrow, going to keep warming up for everyone. New Orleans is going to be our cool spot at 88 degrees as they're expecting more rain. Now I'm going to pass things off to Michael, and he's going to give us our first local forecast.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. And it's getting a little bit more humid and a little bit more muggy out there compared to the last few days. Again, we're at 90 degrees at the airport with those mostly cloudy skies you see over Doak Campbell Stadium. Again, 90 in Tallahassee and 90 in Thomasville. A lot of us are in the 90s, around the low to mid 90s in terms of your air temperature. And then down towards the coast, a tad bit cooler as the sea breeze has moved just a bit inland into the middle part of the panhandle. So 89 in Caribou and 88 in Apalachicola. The dew points compared to this time yesterday, a little bit higher compared to where we were. So 70 in Tallahassee, 69 in Caribou, a little bit more muggy out there. Not as bad as it usually is for the end of July, but not as great as it's been for the last few days. But up towards the Georgia county, still in those drier air, 63 in Donaldsonville and 63 in Thomasville. So the heat indexes are pretty close to your air temperature in the Georgia counties, but they're a little bit higher, about 3 to 5 degrees higher than your air temperature down towards the Florida counties because of those higher dew points. And the reason why those dew points are increasing a little bit, you can notice the change in the wind direction. This time yesterday, they were coming out of the northeast. Now with that sea breeze starting to move a little bit more inland, you're getting that flow out the Gulf of Mexico, bringing that little bit more moisture. So that's the reason for those higher dew points. And with that little bit of more moisture, we do have 2 showers over our area. One right over the airport you see developed just about 10 minutes ago, and then one over just north of Panama City in Bay County. But other than that, still a pretty dry day. But again, those shower chances are going to increase gradually and then rapidly as we go into the end part of our work week and towards the weekend. So the next 24 hours shows you whatever shower activity we do have right now dies off with that daytime heating. Start off with mostly sunny skies for your Wednesday morning, and in the afternoon, a tad bit more coverage compared to the last few days, around a 20 to 30% chance at most of having a shower over your region. You see just one north of Wilma. So if you want to head out to the beach tomorrow, pretty good conditions with the temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, 85 is your air temperature with a good water temperature as well under those mostly sunny skies. Tonight, a little bit more muggy, not as cool as the last few nights, not many places in the 60s for your lows, a lot of us in the low to mid 70s. And then for tomorrow, a little bit hotter compared to today, with the humidity increasing a little bit as well also, and so temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 90s and feeling a little bit warmer in terms of your heat index as it feels like outside. So your 7-day forecast shows you how we've gradually returned to that typical summertime pattern, with the rain chances going to around 50 to 60% chance with that increase of moisture from the Gulf. Now let's send it out to Tyler to look at a pretty hot, or depending where you are, cold national.
Thanks, Michael. And what a surprise. Death Valley, California is our national high for today. They got all the way up to 125 degrees. It's an absolutely brutal temperature there. But if you're in Gates Park, Montana, you're feeling way better. That is if you like the cold. You got a low of 30 degrees today. Might even see some snow here in July if you're sitting over there. But for the rest of our national view, cold front is bringing a lot of rain for the East Coast and also some frontal storms associated in the central towards the West Coast as well. Our storm outlook map shows that there's a 2 out of 5 risk for a severe storm here in northeast Wyoming and in southwest South Dakota, and then all over the East Coast expecting some severe thunderstorms, especially in New York and getting into Pennsylvania as well. So the thunderstorms are pretty widespread all throughout, zooming in, even getting into Vermont, a 2 out of 5 risk for a severe thunderstorm. And then this darker green here is a 1 out of 5 risk for a severe thunderstorm. And then right now, actually New York and all of Vermont are under a severe thunderstorm watch that's going to go until 9 p.m. tonight. Also, these orange spots scattered throughout, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. So those areas are under the threat of just very strong storms right now. We're going to see these storms moving northward right now. They're pretty sporadic. So one moment you could be in a very severe downpour, and then the next moment the rain's just gone, but the storms are just going to continue filing in. So just because those storms are gone doesn't mean you're quite out of the clear yet. For the entire country, though, looking at the temperatures, Dallas, Fort Worth at 100 right now. Phoenix also hot at 104. Pretty much the entire country is very hot, except for the West Coast. They're in the 70s. Chicago and Minneapolis also feeling pretty great in the 70s as well. As for the dew points, the West Coast, as usual, is fairly dry, except for getting right on the water in San Francisco and LA. And then the East Coast experiencing some muggy conditions, but not terrible for this time of year, except Memphis. That's the very muggy spot. So is Miami, but everyone else is feeling fairly great. And for our wind speeds and directions, here in Salt Lake City, 10 miles per hour. We have a high pressure system moving clockwise over here, but our most breezy conditions are in San Francisco and LA, right on the water. So is Boston and Washington, D.C., very close to the water. They're experiencing the highest wind speeds right now. Over the next 48 hours, you're going to see the rain continue to move out as we get into the nighttime hours, and then the East Coast rain's going to start sparking up during those afternoon hours. Again, Kansas City going to see some rain, and then as we get into Thursday, just more of the same. Southeast getting some sporadic rain, and then South Dakota and getting into Nebraska also going to see some rain as well. For tonight, though, those temperatures are going to be fairly comfortable for everyone. Miami is actually going to be all the way up to 80 tonight. Not super comfortable. Phoenix at 82, but everyone else is going to feel pretty great. Louisville getting all the way down to 70 degrees. The West Coast getting into the 50s. And then for tomorrow, those temperatures are going to keep on staying warm. Even places like Minneapolis are getting back into the 80s. The West Coast is going to stay fairly comfortable, San Francisco getting up to 72, and LA getting up to 73. Now I'm going to pass things off to Michael. He's going to give us a look at the tropics.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit active in the tropics over the last few days, and we're getting to that time of year, And out towards the Pacific, it's getting really active. You can see Hurricane Eric. It's a Category 4 hurricane. This time yesterday was only a tropical storm. So basically over the last 24 hours, it's undergone really intense, rapid intensification. And you can see there's not much wind shear. The waters are warm. It is ideal for strengthening. Luckily, the storm is going to stay south of Hawaii, and with those cooler waters, it's eventually going to weaken into a tropical storm, into a very weak one, around 45 miles per hour. Now, Flossie is right behind its tails, as you can see, and it just got upgraded to a hurricane, 75 miles per hour, moving quickly off towards the west at 14 miles per hour. Now, this is going to really intensify with those warm waters and no shear environment, and this is what Hawaii needs to watch as we go into the weekend and into next week. You can see making that northwesterly motion, and it might actually impact the Big Island. This is something we have to monitor again as we go into early next week. In the Atlantic, we have Invest 95L still undergoing a lot of wind shear. It could develop as it gets near the southeast coastline, a 10% chance over the next 5 days, mainly a rainmaker for central and south Florida. And then we also have another tropical wave out towards the Atlantic, and that is really have a lot of time to watch it. It's going to take about 2 weeks to move across the Atlantic, and it won't really develop until it gets towards the Lesser Antilles, about a 20% chance of that really developing. Again, we have a lot of time to watch that tropical wave, but it's a good reminder that we do need to remember that tropical waves we're getting to that time of year where we do need to worry about that. Now let's send off to Tyler with our last look in Tallahassee.
Thanks, Michael. It's always important to take a look at the tropics, make sure everything is well. Always want to keep an eye on it to keep in just make sure the hurricanes aren't coming towards us right now, but I'm going to talk about Tallahassee. That's what we're worried about here at FSU Weather. Beautiful sunny sky right now, some partly cloudy skies as well, but that's helping us stay cool at 90 degrees. Winds coming out of the south at 6 miles per hour. The rest of the Big Bend region is feeling pretty great as well. Monticello at 87 degrees, Quincy at 93. That's the hot spot along with Donaldsonville. So just a great day to be outside. Not much rain, but fairly cloudy skies that keep things a little bit cooler. Our dew points are getting a little bit higher than what they were yesterday, but still fairly comfortable. Tallahassee has the highest dew point at 70 degrees. Quincy getting down to 64, and then Thomasville all the way down to 63. And then the heat index, which is influenced by our dew points, these temperatures are fairly comfortable for our heat index. Feels like Tallahassee feels like 95, St. Mark's feels like 96. I'll take that over the 100-degree temperatures we were feeling about 2 weeks ago. Our wind speeds are very much influenced by the sea breeze coming off the Gulf of Mexico right now. Tallahassee at 6 miles per hour, St. Mark's getting up to 7, and Quincy at 8 miles per hour. Just slightly breezy conditions, nothing too strong. And then the satellite and radar shows we haven't had much rain, just some spotty showers we saw at the airport and then moving to our west. But just been an absolutely beautiful day in Tallahassee and the surrounding region. Over the next 24 hours, going to see the rain move out into the morning. And then as we get into those afternoon hours, going to see rain chances pop up a little bit, mostly for the eastern side of the Big Bend region and also to the west of us as well. But the central parts like Tallahassee, not expecting much rain, only about a 10% chance tomorrow. For tonight, going to get down to 70 degrees, mostly clear skies. It's going to keep on with those clear skies. Really, those rain chances aren't expected to pick up anytime soon. So if you're planning to make an evening walk or something along those lines, this is a great night to do that. For tomorrow, going to be very much like today, 94, mostly sunny skies. Probably going to see some clouds roll in later on in the day. I'm going to see rain chances spark up a little bit higher than what we saw today here in Tallahassee, though. In our 7-day forecast, we're going to take a deep dive into what's happening each day this week. Wednesday at a 10% chance, going to get up to 94 degrees. Going to heat up just 1 degree more on Thursday and have a 30% chance of rain, with the low that night getting down to 73 degrees. For Friday, going to be at 94, and that's when we see those rain chances really start to pick up again, getting up to a 50% chance of rain on Friday. Saturday and Sunday, that's whenever the sunshine goes away and the rain really starts to pick up here in the Big Bend region. Going to be a 60% chance on Saturday and Sunday with highs of 92 and 93 degrees. Monday and Tuesday, rain chance is going to fall just a little bit more after that, and temperature is going to remain fairly constant though. If you haven't already, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at FSU Weather. And we stream on YouTube live at 6 o'clock FSU Weather as well. Have a great night.